We're in my car right now, and today we are going to find out whether or not this guy here is worth it anymore. So this is a Kyosho Mini Z 4x4. This is the Jimny, and yes, the wheels and tires are dirty. I did shoot some stuff already. Should you get a Mini Z 4x4 today, you know, with all the other little mini crawlers that exist now? Is this guy worth your time? It's not cheap. It's not any cheaper than anything else you could get. So why would you want this? And maybe why wouldn't you? Who's it for? So we're going to figure that out today. I do already have some stuff shot, like I said. We're going to kind of just go with the flow on today's video and just how it's going to be. So it's not really that bad on the trails, but there is one kind of limiting factor here. It's quite slow, but it is doing like a lot of stuff that I didn't think it was gonna. So honestly, it's trailable. Okay, so now it's time to kind of temper our expectations just a little bit. The Jimny body, first of all, this version of the Mini Z is probably the least capable, and throwing it on rocks like this, we are asking a ton out of this little rig. The approach angle is not very good. The departure angle, or whatever it's called, is also not very good. So it has a hard time here on the rocks, and this is not the terrain for it. Now, when it does get on stuff, you can see the climbing ability is actually pretty good. The tires grip pretty well on rocks, and it climbs well. It kind of makes me wonder if the maybe the other body styles might be more capable as rock crawlers. They're certainly better from what I've read and watched. This kind of area here is really, really tough for the Mini Z. It's struggles so much. Like, this was unfun for the most part. Every now and then I would find a line or two that I could make and have a little bit of challenge, which was starting to get fun, but overall this isn't it for this particular rig. Now, if you look at like just the overall scale appearance and the scale vibe that the Mini Z is offering, if those rocks were to scale, like if everything here was 1-to-1, just that would be sort of impossible, or at least very, very tough on the vehicle. So I do think that it's an accurate representation, and when it does start getting through this sort of stuff, it does look cool. But we can't forget that the idea of the Mini Z is it's almost a little model. You know, it's meant to look quite scale. here's a little section where I think actually I find like a rock area that's pretty cool and actually doable. So with the right kind of area that's appropriate, it can do some pretty impressive stuff on the rocks, but it's not a rock crawler, at least not the Jimny version. Around the house, it's really cool. This is actually the first thing I shot before I left. And these types of areas are really fun with it. You don't have to go far to have fun with the Mini Z. I do really wonder how good the 4Runner would be, though. Maybe I'll come across one day. The Mini Z 4x4 excels basically in trail situations, trail-like terrain, around the house a lot, and in the house a lot too. Like, you can make obstacles, you can make stuff that will be fitting for it and can provide a good, challenging, fun time. A really huge, awesome perk to the Mini Z, if you're doing like indoor stuff, if you have an indoor course, the Mini Z 4x4's turning radius is super, super tight. So like, I can turn it around on like a picnic table. So that's huge. That makes a huge difference, and you can definitely build a course that's actually pretty small and have a lot of fun on it with that. Another area where the Mini Z 4x4 really excels, in my opinion, is just like, it's a good travel grab and go kind of rig, because no matter where you're at, you're going to be able to find some kind of terrain that's going to be cool with it. So that's where I think it is its best, but it's certainly not a rock crawler. And unless you have like a perfect sort of rock surface for it to drive over, it's probably going to give you a really hard time, and you're just going to scratch it up. Okay, so with that all out of the way, who is the Mini Z 4x4 for? I would consider it a good rig for people who have a lot of other RC cars and want something that they can just like stash in their bag or in their freaking glove box, honestly, and just like, you know, crawl randomly wherever they are. I think it would be good for like a travel rig, although I do think that some of the other smaller scale stuff would be good for a travel rig. I would consider it a good option for people who primarily want to run indoors and build like indoor courses. And I would consider it a good option for people who live in like dense city type areas where maybe you don't have good trail / rock crawling things to get to nearby. Because like I said, like, you know, like a little planter or like a nice landscaping feature somewhere can actually provide like hours of fun with the Mini Z 4x4. So if you live in like New York City or something, or somewhere like that, like what I'm imagining that to be, I think you would have a good time with this rig, because you would be able to find places for it to go. Definitely not for somebody looking for a rock crawler. This is not something that can replace the Ascent 18 or any of that stuff. It's not going to replace your SCX 24 build. It's not even close. You probably can't even build it to get that close. So stay away. If you're trying to do that kind of rock crawling with it, then it's not for you. Trail truck people, it's probably not for you either. It can definitely handle trail type terrain, no problem. It's just not very fast. It's very slow. Maybe the X speed motor or something like that could provide you with enough speed to be fun on the trail. But I just don't know. I know you can put like a brushless motor in these things. Like Fury Tech makes a kit, I'm pretty sure, for them. But I still don't think it's going to get you where you want to go. So yes, I think it's worth it, but just for like a select group of people who want something like this. Like for me, this works out pretty good. I'll have fun with it. I'll drive it. It's fun for me to just take places with me. Like for instance, I'm traveling soon, and I'll probably take it. It's not going to take up any space, and it'll be fun, and I'm sure I can find something to crawl over a little bit. I will say that the Mini Z 4x4's climbing ability is kind of out of this world. As long as you get that slipper clutch taken care of, which there's a lot of tutorials online, but you kind of need to put some washers behind it in order to tighten it up, because eventually it does slip. It's an issue, but it's not a hard fix. But once you get that fixed, it's a tank. It will try to go up anything. Anyway, that's a video. If you like this video, give me a like, and if you like this type of content, you should subscribe, because I post videos like this every week, except for maybe not next week because I'm traveling. But we'll see. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Catch you in the next one.